Hi there. So my name is Danielle, and for those of you who don't know me, depending on how you're seeing this video, I am the owner of Mama's Book Haven, and I work in partnership with Usborne Books. So depending on how you've seen this video, whether it's on my social media or I have sent you the link, this is just the opportunity for me to tell you a little bit more about me, a little bit more about my business and what I get up to, depending on what it is that you're interested on. Hopefully I can answer some of those questions. And then by all means, if after this any questions pop up for you or you want to discuss anything in a little bit more detail, then I'd love to chat with you a little bit more about it. There's various ways that you can contact me via my social media, a comment, a message, text, phone call, email, whatever suits you. I love a voice note as well if that suits you too. So feel free to get in touch if you've got any questions at the end of this. I'll try and keep it short and sweet because I can have a tendency to get quite overexcited and waffle on. So I'll just cover kind of the basics, and then, like I said, if you've got any questions, just ask. So I've been doing my bookshop now for about 2.5 years. I started in January 2023. So I've got two boys who are currently 8.5 and almost 10. And I've been a bookworm my whole life. I was an only child. I spent a lot of summer holidays and school holidays bored at grandparents' houses. And so I've always just read books. I remember being under the cover with a torch reading when I was supposed to be going to sleep. And I remember also going on holiday and basically a quarter of my suitcase would just be books because I could read a book a day. I loved that it just took you away into another world. I loved that you can just create how you want that book to be in your mind. So when I had my boys, I, from very early on, was like, I want them to be readers. I want them to enjoy books. So I read to them when I was pregnant. I read to them when they were newborn, when they didn't even have a clue what I was doing. And they've grown up always loving books. And even now at 8.5 and nearly 10, they can read by themselves. But they will absolutely freak out if they're messing around at bedtime and I say, come on, you're not going to have enough time for your story. They're like, no, they need to have their bedtime story before they go to sleep. It helps them relax. It helps them unwind. And it's a lovely little bit of bonding time. So I'm really, really pleased that I've managed to kind of instill that in them. So obviously throughout that, when the opportunity came up to work with Usborne and have my own little kind of bookshop business, I absolutely jumped at the chance because it's like my dream job. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and kind of where I am and how I've got here. So in terms of how it actually works and the things I do on a day-to-day basis, there's lots of different things that you can do, and there's lots of different things that I do at different times. So I don't do all of these things all the time because there's not the time or the capacity for that. But generally I focus on working with schools. So I run free events like sponsored reads. I go in and do book fairs. I can also organise to do direct orders with decent discounts on them. So there's various things I can do with schools, which is where my passion kind of lies personally. But I've also done things in the community, like fundraising with local businesses to hide books in the area for children to find and then pass on to their friends, or to re-hide. I've got my own book club that I run, my adult book club, and we read some of the older fiction. And I also have some regular pop-ups at things like toddler groups at hospitals, so I donate to the charities. I have them at an office. I go along to do markets and fetes and things like that. So like I said, I don't do all of that stuff all of the time because there's just not the time for that, especially with my children. But they're all the different things that you can do and more, but they're kind of just the headline things. So in case you're kind of wondering, what is it that I would do? What would you do on a daily basis? Everybody's business looks differently. So when I go along to sort of training and sessions and things like that Usborne put on, and all the different partners are there, everybody's business looks different. Some people just focus on schools. Some people just focus on doing like markets and things. Some people focus on just doing things behind the scenes or online. Because we kind of have a bit of a tagline that is your business, your way. All of our circumstances are different. All of us have different amounts of time that we can put into the business. Some people do this as a full-time job. Other people do it as a part-time job, like myself. Other people just do it as a hobby. Other people just do it where they're kind of selling to family and friends and just doing the odd bits and pieces here and there for some extra pocket money or just for something to do. So there really is a broad range of people that do this. and it can really suit anybody. We've got people who've got kids, we've got people who haven't got kids, whether you're kind of young and just want to start up something that you could build for your future, whether you're a mum like myself and you're kind of got a little bit lost when you had kids, just wanted something for yourself and a way of earning some extra money to contribute towards the family. I didn't want to go back to work after having children. I wanted to be around for them, and me and my husband actually worked out that if I went back to work, all of my salary would basically go on paying for childcare, and we were just like, what's the point in that? It might as well be me being around. So this was a way of me kind of having something for myself and earning some money to be able to contribute whilst also still being around for them. And for me, that is kind of the biggest part of this business. We also have older people as well, by the way. When I mean older, I mean I'm older, I'm middle-aged, but we've got people who are kind of retired and do this as something extra to do, again, to earn some extra money or to have something just for themselves. So there's so many different people. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things for me, is kind of the flexibility and the freedom that it gives me. I'm able to take my kids to school in the morning. I'm able to pick them up. I know their friends. I know the parents at school. I'm able to go along to any assemblies that they do, any random things that they do in the classroom, sports days next week that I'm going to be able to go to, plays that they put on. Recently, one of my kids was off sick for a few days. I was able just to be here and spend the time with him and give him the attention that he needs. Sometimes my kids struggle to go into school. I can take the time in the morning to be with them and to help them and not have to worry about rushing back to the office, making up the time, letting somebody know, kind of giving them the reasons as to where I am. The last few summers, we've gone along for like long breaks over the summer. I've not had to worry about asking for time off. I don't have to worry about school holidays and making sure that that's covered, because I know I can be around. So for me, that's the biggest thing, that it gives me the flexibility and the freedom to do what I want to do for my family. But equally, when they are at school, I've got something for me. I'm getting something from it. I'm getting the feel-good factor. I'm earning money. I'm giving back to my community. And I just love it. It's wonderful, as you can probably tell, because I'm starting to waffle on now. So I think that's basically it. I think that's the headline things that I wanted to talk about, because I don't want this to be a really, really long video. I've not got down into the nitty-gritty of how a lot of that kind of works, because I think that's better to have as a conversation or a chat. I just wanted to give you the headline details. So like I said at the beginning, if you want to know a little bit more about anything that I've talked about, if you want to know a bit more detail, if there's something that you thought I would cover that I haven't, then drop me a message, let me know, and I'll talk about it with you. If it's raised any kind of questions or concerns, or you think that something I've mentioned, there's some boundaries there for you, I promise you that there's some ways that we can find to get around that. Like I said, there's so many different people with so many different circumstances. Like I said, from children to other commitments to health problems, whether they drive, whether they don't drive, all of those kinds of different things. And there's always ways around it. So we're such an amazing community, and there's always people that have got different ideas and solutions. So we can find a way to make this work for you. So yeah, I'm going to go now. Feel free to get in touch, send me a message, an email, a call, anything like that. And I'd love to chat to you a little bit more about it. And I hope to hear from you soon. All right then, take care. And I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's helped. All right, bye.